my man dropped. I'm up. I'm getting some energy out. We gonna do some jumping jack. I just gotta move a little bit. I feel like I gotta move a little bit because I think it's about to get really crazy. This man has been getting dragged on the internet, like absolutely dragged. And I'm gonna be real with you. I feel like Kendrick's last two tracks ate this man's food. He done buried him, dug him up, slapped him around a little bit, and reburied him. And I get that a lot of Drake fans don't feel that way, and Kendrick fans are gonna stick with Kendrick, and I get all that. I don't listen to either of their music. I have absolutely no bias in this, and I said in the beginning, I think Drake's gonna win. I think he's got a more battle-ready style, and I feel like he's gonna take it because of that. And I was surprised because I kind of started to lean the other way. But I've left open the possibility that this man might just pull himself out that grave on some zombie shit and just go crazy. So I'm hoping that's what this is. Now, he made some comments in that last track about one of Kendrick's kids possibly being Dave Freeze, and that's the background. So I think shit's gonna get a little bit crazy. And I'm here for this. This is what I love about hip hop. This is what I wanna see. Now, he titled this The Heart Part 6. Kendrick was doing the Heart songs, and he ended with Part 5. So I already like that. I already like how he's playing with the title. I'm waffling at this point. I'm nervous to even hit play because I don't know what we about to get. Shit might get crazy. Only one way to find out, baby. All right, let's dive in. I got myself real excited, a little hopping around and shit like that. I didn't know if this man was gonna respond. I thought we might just leave this alone. But we here. So let's dive in.
Pulitzer Prize winner is definitely spiraling. I got your fucking lines tapped, I swear that I'm dialed in. First I was a rat, so where's the proof of the trial then? Where's the paperwork of the cabinet is filed in? 1090 Jake would've took all the walls down. The streets would've had me hiding out in a small town.
Yo, shout out to 1090 Jake. He's gotta love that he just heard his name dropped in this. For anybody that does not know, he's a YouTuber who is known for going around and pulling papers on different rappers that snitch or, you know, say that they do certain things, but then the papers show otherwise when they get in custody. And he's basically saying this man would have done got me by now. He would have got me by now if I was doing any of this shit. So
my Montreal connects stand up, not far down. The ones that you getting your stories from, they all clowns. I am a war general, seasoned in preparation. My jacket is covered in medals, honor and decoration. You waited for this moment, overcome with the desperation. We plotted for a weekend and we fed you the information. A daughter that's 11 years old, I bet he takes it. We thought about giving a fake name or a destination, but you so thirsty, you not concerned with investigation. Instead, you in that Venice studio, it's a celebration. You gotta learn to fact check things and be less impatient. Your fans are rejoicing, thinking this is my expiration.
Woo, okay. So now we know Drake fed that information to him. That's a smart move. That's chess. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That's some chess where he's like, all right, let's get some people on the team to act like they ain't want to really be here. Let them reach out to Kendrick's team, feed some information. Now, I have heard some people say that whole diss falls flat if the 11-year-old girl thing is fake. I personally don't believe that. Now, obviously, the other stuff isn't fully proven or anything, but that entire diss was amazing. If you took out the 11-year-old daughter thing, I still felt like it cooked. Like everything else in it to me was way more important. The 11-year-old daughter thing was just icing on the cake. Now, again, you got to kind of prove some of that stuff. It's more so a narrative that's being spun based on a few things that you saw online, the videos of him and stuff, but there's no actual proof of it. And I don't feel like it necessarily has to be like, yo, here is the paperwork. I mean, I guess I do feel that way because you are talking about some really serious allegations. But when it comes to diss tracks, in every diss track you've ever heard, people have spun narratives that may or may not be true. And no one's ever been like, yo, you got to prove it. Like when Pac said that he banged Biggie's wife. Nobody said, yo, Pac, you got to prove it, right? Like he spun a narrative because she was at the studio with him and there's pictures of her sitting on his lap. But it doesn't mean that he actually did anything with her, but he spun the narrative. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a valid way of approaching a diss track. And the whole, like, writing letters to his son and his mom and his dad, like that shit that hit so much for me. But I will give it to Drake that that's a genius move to feed him information. And that definitely takes wind out of that diss. I will admit that as well. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend and be like, yo, because again, I have no bias in this. I have no pick. Like, I just wanted to hear a good back and forth, and I feel like that's what we getting. And so I gotta give this man all the props in the world, because that is a mother chess move.
He takes it. We thought about giving a fake name or a destination, but you so thirsty, you not concerned with investigation. Instead, you in that Venice studio, it's a celebration. You gotta learn to fact check things and be less impatient. Your fans are rejoicing, thinking this is my expiration.
However, I will say, maybe you should fact check, because if someone plays you like this, it's gonna make you look extra stupid. It is gonna make you look extra stupid. It's one thing if you put it out there and it ended up maybe not being true, nobody really knew. But it's another thing when you were fed information thinking you getting some real shit. You didn't fact check at all or try to really see if these people were giving you real information and not just playing with you. That kind of, like, that's the thing that makes him look stupid to me. The fact that you just believed somebody instead of actually making sure this dude is legit and not just trying to play you as part of Drake's camp.
Even the picture you use, the jokes and the medication, the Maybach glove and the drug he uses for less inflation. Master manipulator, you bid on a speculation. You dumb and reactive, nigga, I'm petty with dedication. What about the bones we dug up in that excavation? And why isn't Whitney denying all of the allegations? Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale? You haven't seen the kids in 6 months, the distance is wild.
Yo, that's crazy. He does bring up a point though, right? Like, if that's your wife and someone comes out and says that you beat her, you think that your wife is going to come forward first and foremost before anybody else and be like, yo, that shit ain't true, right? Like, she's gonna go to bat for you. That's your wife, especially if that shit ain't true. So he brings up a valid point right there, and he's saying that the whole shit was pretty much a setup. The whole picture, the glove, the medication, the bat, like the entire thing, which is why people are saying online that Kendrick had taken it down from streaming platforms or something like that. Not the song itself, but the cover art. So again, you got to give him props for playing chess, man.
Up in that excavation, and why isn't Whitney denying all of the allegations? Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale?
That's
you haven't
wild.
seen the kids in 6 months, the distance is wild. Dave leaving heart emojis underneath pics of the child.
Wait, so hold up. If that's true, see, this is the thing, right? Like, he's spinning the narrative. You ain't seen the kids in 6 months. Like, we're not going to ask Drake to prove this. So this just, it plays into the narrative thing, right? Again, we don't know 100% if that's a fact, but based on everything he's saying around it and a few things that we might know online, like, he's going to spin that narrative, and that shit works. Like, this is what he needed to respond with.
Kids in 6 months, the distance is wild. Dave leaving heart emojis underneath pics of the child. Speaking of anything with a child, let's get to that now.
This is okay. I don't mean to keep pausing, but so this heart emoji, and so this is something that he left under a picture of one of Kendrick's kids. I'm assuming on her page. Yo, this shit mad. I ain't even gonna play with this shit. This is some madness.
And not Mr. Morale. You haven't seen the kids in 6 months, the distance is wild. Dave leaving heart emojis underneath pics of the child. Speaking of anything with a child, let's get to that now. This Epstein angle was the shit I expected.
Woo. I ain't know if he was gonna address this, because it's hard, like, to find a way to address someone saying, yo, you did this. And especially when there is some stuff online, like the 17-year-old girl on stage saying she's 17, he still, like, kissed her on the lips and said some weird things to her, like really odd things. And the whole texting with Millie, what was it, Millie Bobby Brown or something, like, whatever her name is, 11 from Stranger Things. But my man's gonna address it. Okay, this is. It's gonna be an interesting track.
6 months, the distance is wild. Dave leaving heart emojis underneath pics of the child. Speaking of anything with a child, let's get to that now.
That was a dope bridge
Epstein
too.
Angle was the shit I expected. TikTok videos you collected and dissected. Instead of being on some disdirect shit, you rather fucking grab your pen and misdirect shit. My mom came over today and I was like, mother, wait a second. That's that one record where you say you got molested. Oh, fuck me. I just made the whole connection. This about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confessions. This when your father leave you home alone with no protection, so neglected. That's why these pedophile raps, the shit you so obsessed with, is so.
Yo. I just hope nobody dies over these back and forths because they saying some real crazy shit. So I don't know the track because, again, I don't listen to a lot of Kendrick or Drake. So someone's going to have to fill me in on what song he's talking about. But based on what he's saying, and your father left you at home unprotected, is he trying to say that Kendrick's mom is the one that molested him? Yo, this shit just got really real.
Mother eye, wait a second. That's that one record where you say you got molested. Oh, fuck me, I just made the whole connection. This about to get so depressing. This is trauma from your own confessions. This when your father leave you home alone with no protection, so neglected. That's why these pedophile raps and shit you so obsessed with is so excessive. They acting like it's so aggressive, but you just never known affection. I don't wanna dish you anymore. This really got me second guessing. Touch My Body by Mariah Carey play, you probably start reflecting. I never been with no one underage, but now I understand why that's the angle that you really mess with. Just for clarity, I feel disgusted. I'm too respected. If I was fucking young girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested, but that's not the lesson. Clearly there's a deeper message. Deep cuts that never healed and now they got infected. Like if Dave really fucked your girl and got her pregnant. Talk about breeding resentment. Not sure how to ease the sentiment. The shit's too intimate. I'm praying you recover from both incidents, but you a piece of shit, so this shit really no coincidence. Drake is not a name that you gon' see on no sex offender list.
Yo, this I didn't know he was gonna take this approach. This is actually genius. I've got to give it to him. I've got to give it to him. This man that came about the grave. I'm gonna be real with you. He done came about the grave. It's on again. That's wild to me. So he's just spinning this whole narrative. And again, I'm pretty sure he's talking about Kendrick's mom. If not, regardless, what he's trying to say is there was a track you talked about how you got molested, and that's why this pedophile shit is something you so obsessed with, and just broke down the whole thing and said, I get why you directing this at me now. You angry and stuff like that because of all the shit that happened to you. It's this pain that you have, this trauma that's never been healed, that you've never gotten yourself through yet. And then also addresses the whole, like, you know, listen, if I was actually doing what you said, as famous and as big as I'd have been in jail by now. Like, trust me. Now, that's a shaky way of putting it. Only reason why I say that is because you see people like R. Kelly that have been around forever. You know what I'm saying? It took a long time. Now you got the whole situation with Diddy. So sometimes that shit kind of gets swept under the rug, especially when you got a lot of money. If anything, it might actually elongate the time that it takes for something like that to happen. I'm not saying that Drake is doing that, but I'm just saying that it doesn't negate the possibility. But the angle that he's spinning, though, on this and why Kendrick is bringing it up and going so hard on it, like, that's the best way that you could approach responding to it, like, by far.
Girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested, but that's not the lesson. Clearly there's a deeper message. Deep cuts that never healed and now they got infected. Like if Dave really fucked your girl and got her pregnant. Talk about breeding resentment. Not sure how to ease the sentiment. The shit's too intimate. I'm praying you recover from both incidents, but you a piece of shit, so this shit really no coincidence. Drake is not a name that you gon' see on no sex offender list. Easy does it. You mentioned that A minor, but niggas gotta be sharp and tell the fans who was it. You thought you left D flat, D major. I'll slit your throat with the razor and do Rick Ross air like that one flight from Malaysia. I'm your baby mama screensaver.
I'm your baby mama screensaver. I'm gonna do Rick Ross like the flight from Malaysia that is gone. And I want to say there was something that came out about the jet of Rick Ross's crashing. I obviously he wasn't in it. When I saw it, I'm like, wait a minute, was he in it? Like, what happened? And then people were saying that it was Drake that did it. So that's where he's playing off of that whole Twitter thing that was going on. But hold up, there was some more things. The way he played off of the A minor, you know, let's B. Woo, okay, hold up. B sharp.
So this shit really no coincidence. Drake is not a name that you gon' see on no sex offender list. Easy does it. You mentioned that A minor, but niggas gotta be sharp and tell the fans who was it. You thought you left D flat, D major. I'll slit your throat with the razor and do Rick Ross air like that one flight from Malaysia. I'm your baby mama screensaver. Only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Browns. I'd never look twice at no teenager. I'm a fucking hit maker, dawg, not a peacemaker.
My man said I only F with Whitney's. Hold up. We gotta go. Wait, hold up. I feel like it's about to get really crazy again.
And talk about breeding resentment. Not sure how to ease the sentiment. The shit's too intimate. I'm praying you recover from both incidents. But you a piece of shit, so this shit really no coincidence. Drake is not a name that you gon' see on no sex offender list. Easy does it. You mentioned it A minor, but niggas gotta be sharp and tell the fans who was it.
Like, that's dope. A minor, but gotta be sharp and tell the fans who was it. Like, basically saying, if you're gonna try to push this narrative, then who? Tell us who. We listening.
You thought you left D flat, D major. I'll slit
I like that. You thought you left D flat, Drake flat. Like, as far as like you thought you bodied me. And listen, I'm in that bracket. I thought so too. But this man, this the comeback. You know what's funny? Because the best part about this on Twitter is all the little memes and shit getting made around academics and how he's responded and looks sad at times when Kendrick dropped. This man's probably wilding right now. Probably wildin'.
your throat with the razor and do Rick Ross air like that one flight from Malaysia. I'm your baby mama screensaver. Only fucking with Whitney's, not Millie Bobby Browns. I'd never look twice at no teenager.
It's also crazy. Like he straight up addressed it by name, right? And if there was a case that he was actually doing that, there's no saying that she would, but she could just come out and say it. The world would be listening. She's popular. You know what I'm saying? It's not like she's just some no-name person that can't get the attention of people to say what she has to say and put her piece out there. So I feel like it's most likely not true. It is weird, right, to think like this grown man was texting 14, but like, what does texting mean, right? Like, we never saw the text messages. Did he just send a message to be like, yo, you killed it in this show? I still understand where people are coming from with it being kind of odd. Like, I don't know that I would have done that. If anything, maybe I would have just said something on social media and figured they're gonna see it because I'm Drake, I'm popular. So I still think it seems a little bit odd, but it doesn't mean that he actually attempted anything, right? Like that's where like the line is, right? As far as like, okay, it seems a little weird, but like, did he do some shit? If not, then like you could have your opinions about it, but there's not really anything to it.
I'm a fucking hit maker, dog, not a peacemaker. Yeah, bullets that I'm stuffing in each chamber. Your ass in extreme danger. Stop buying views and bot comments. You may as well keep the paper. Shit you got to need for later.
So a lot of people said that Kendrick was buying views, and the reason why is because his song had so many views, but it wasn't on trending on YouTube. Now, just to explain a few things, I'm pretty sure YouTube Music, it might have an automated trending system. I know YouTube itself, like the overall, I don't believe does. But as far as the YouTube Music, I think that it has to be on streaming platforms. Like, it has to be officially released to digital platforms for it to be qualified for that, if I'm not mistaken. So being that it wasn't, that's going to be one of the reasons. But also a lot of times on trending with YouTube just in general, if I'm not mistaken, I'm almost positive, and I've seen a lot of big creators talk about it, is that the trending tab is it's more so manually picked. Like, there's been a lot of times where there's been videos that have done crazy numbers and they don't get put on trending, or there's videos that are on the same topic with way less views and they go on trending, and it just seems like they kind of pick and choose what goes there. Now, as far as the YouTube Music specifically, that's like a separate entity a little bit, because YouTube Music is a little bit of a different place, if you know what I'm talking about, as opposed to being on YouTube itself. I do believe that it has to be an official release. So that I don't think that there's anything really behind that, but I can see why he would take a shot at it, because it is something a lot of people were talking about.
I give a fuck about your streaming data. You could drop 100 more records, I'll see you later. Yeah, maybe when you meet your maker. I don't want to fight with a woman beater. It feeds your nature.
Ooh, I don't want to fight with a woman beater. It feature nature. Yo, what? Wow. Yo, this is actually legit. This is the shit that we needed from Drake.
About your streaming data. You could drop 100 more records, I'll see you later. Yeah, maybe when you meet your maker. I don't want to fight with a woman beater. It feeds your nature. If you still bumping R. Kelly, you could thank the savior. Said if they deleted his music, then your music is going to a hypocrite. I don't understand why these people praise you. Sounding like you sent him commissary when he needs some paper. Album dropping soon, no wonder you turn a cloud chaser instead of doing hard labor. Nigga, I see you when I see you, like Fantasia. Whitney, you can hit me if you need a favor. And when I say I hit your back, it's a lot safer.
That's wild. Okay, hold up. I'll see you when I see you, like Fantasia. There's a singer, I believe, named Fantasia with a song called I See You Later, something like that. Pretty sure that's what that plays on.
Data. You could drop 100 more records, I'll see you later. Yeah, maybe when you meet your maker. I don't wanna fight with a woman beater, it feeds your nature. If you still bumping R. Kelly, you could thank the savior. Said if they deleted his music, then your music is going to a hypocrite. I don't understand why these people
Wait. Okay, so I'm trying to understand what he said here. Is he trying to say this is what Kendrick said himself? Did Kendrick say if they delete R. Kelly's music, they could delete his too? Because then he called him a hypocrite. Where he's like, basically, I would assume that's what he meant. I don't know for sure. So you guys gotta let me know down below in the comments because I'm not up on some of this background shit as far as like, you know, I don't follow a lot of artists that closely. But it sounds like he's saying that that's what Kendrick said, almost as if he was defending R. Kelly's music staying up, and then saying that he's a hypocrite. And I assume that's because he's trying to attack Drake for a lot of shit that R. Kelly is technically in trouble for right now.
his music and your music is going to a hypocrite. I don't understand why these people praise you. Sounding like you send him commissary when he needs some paper. Album dropping soon, no wonder you turn a cloud chaser instead of doing hard labor.
And I'm pretty sure that Kendrick has an album dropping. I don't know if it's official, but there's been a lot of rumors that there's something dropping this month. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I guess you could kind of throw it at Kendrick because he kind of sparked all this off with Like That. Right now, I don't think that he recorded it right around the time that it dropped. I would almost bet that was recorded weeks, if not month or 2 months before that entire project dropped, because you figure like he's got to get people in, record. So it depends on what order he recorded them in, when he had Kendrick in the studio as far as Metro. So but at the same time though, knowing he was going to drop something at some point this year and probably having an idea when Metro planned on dropping that, you could say that he sparked some issues because it's going to bring attention to his name, and then he's got the project coming out. Now, you don't know that someone's going to respond because he's thrown shots at people plenty of times in his career, and he's never really gotten much back from it, right? So it may have not have been something that he thought was going to happen as far as this whole thing that's going on right now, but I give him that one.
Nigga, I see you when I see you like Fantasia. Whitney, you can hit me if you need a favor.
That shit's crazy.
When I say I hit your back, it's a lot safer.
That shit's crazy.
I promise. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, this shit was some good exercise. Like, it's good to get out, get the pen working. You would be a worthy competitor if I was really a predator and you weren't fucking lying to every blogger and editor, but it is what it is. You definitely got this shit burnt the fuck out though. Like, you got 10 more records to drop. The one before the last one, we finessed you into telling a story that doesn't even exist. And then you go and drop the West Coast one and try and cover that up. I would like that one. That would be some shit I could dance to if you wasn't tripling down on some whole other bullshit. But, at least your fans are getting some raps out of you. I'm happy I can motivate you, bring you back to the game, but just let me know when we're getting to the facts. Everything in my shit is facts. I'm waiting on you to return the favor,
Yo, he's back in it. My man rose up from the dead. Listen. Yo, Drake said, this man came back from the dead. Let's just make sure there's not nothing at the very, very end of this. Okay, there ain't nothing at the very, very end. That's it. Call it. Lock my chair back in real quick. Okay. This shit just got wild. So you've got to give him props for the genius chess move, feeding fake information. 100%. I'm going to be real with you. The last one, I didn't think it was that great. I get that a lot of people enjoyed it. Like the video was dope. I will say I didn't pay a lot of attention to the video. So I did miss all of the plays in the video with the van. And, I missed all that stuff because I was so more focused on the actual lyrics of what was being said. I didn't think that it was all that amazing, but it was at multiple people. And I've said since the beginning when he was going at multiple people, like, yo, he needs to just focus on Kendrick. Because I'm going to be real with you. And a lot of you guys might agree with me. I don't really give a shit what Rick Ross says. I don't really give a shit what A$AP Rocky says. I don't really give a shit what The Weeknd says. Like dope artists, cool, do your thing. When it comes to this battle and shit, like Kendrick is the one. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the one that's worth responding to full on. Like not Rick Ross and all that. Like I get that you want to respond to them, but I feel like you do some of that shit on your own time on the side and you focus on the shit, the situation at hand, which is Kendrick. So that's what he did in this, and that's why this one hit so much harder to me. This like he addressed the shit, and that's what you're supposed to do. He rebutted a lot of stuff, explained how he fed him some bullshit, and then he also even went into the whole Predator shit, which I got to give him props for. Because it's a touchy subject, and it's like, how do you really defend that? Like, how do you defend someone saying that you're doing all this shit? Because it's like, if you're doing it in secret. So it's not like there's someone that can come out and be like, oh, he doesn't do that, right? So like, you don't really have a method. And so him spinning it on Kendrick having a song where he said that he got molested, and then saying, if I'm not mistaken again, that he's trying to paint the picture that it's his mother. Now at the end, he says everything I said is facts. I bet you know Drake fans are going to be like, yo, you got to prove that it was his mom's though. You know, like, but obviously if he said that it happened in a song, Kendrick, then the thing happened. It's just, who was it? How you know, we may not know those details. I don't know. I don't know what song he's talking about. Again, you guys can fill me in and I can go check it out, get myself a little bit more background information. But regardless, it was pretty straightforward. And I think the whole mother eye part, then he says, I get it. And then your dad left you home unprotected. And he ain't really saying anything about his mom's. So that's where I was going that route. But that's crazy, the way that he spun that and basically said, you putting all this on me because of your own trauma. Like, I totally understand. You see TikToks and you took them and stuff and you put them out of context and all this other, you know what I'm saying? And you try to paint this narrative and you mad at me because of the shit that you've been through. And I understand. And I almost don't want to diss you anymore. Like, this shit kind of getting depressing. Like, that was the greatest way to approach that I could have ever came up with. Like, I didn't even think of doing it that way. So I'm going to be real with you. This shit's, I don't know at this point. I don't know at this point. I feel like Kendrick really got off, and I thought Meet the Grams was absolutely amazing. As much as a lot of Drake fans might tune into this and not agree with that, I think that was one of the most well-written approaches, the topic, the writing, the letter to his son, and, you know, all this other stuff about him, his parents. That shit hit so hard. But he did address a lot of the most serious shots that were taken at him regarding the allegations and all this different stuff. And I feel like he did it in a really good way. So I'm going to be real with you. I don't know how I feel right this moment. Like, I got to let this marinate a little bit. I put this on, I did a reaction. I wanted to get it to you guys so we can kind of discuss the track, which we did. But as far as me saying where I'm at on it right now, I got to take a little bit of time to marinate, because I still feel like Kendrick got off, but I feel like Drake just came back from the dead. You know what I'm saying? And I can't write him off right now. I just don't feel like I could. I can't be like, well, I still think Kendrick. I just don't feel like I can. I don't know that I'm like, yo, Drake murdered him, but I feel like he brought it back to the point where it's like, you can't say that he lost this. You can't. So I got to let this marinate a little bit. Let me know what you guys think down below. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully some more come, because that's what I'm here for. And I will catch you in the next one, homies.